Hello everyone, my name is Sashri Kanta and in this video I'll be explaining about my full stack project. That is, I have created an Inkstream application that allows user to read array of blocks and can create their own blocks and publish them. Previously I have done it using React and I have used PostgreSQL for database and Prisma ORM. Now in this project I have used Next.js and Hasura. So Next.js provides you a great benefit of the server-side rendering. It improves search engine optimization and enhances the performance of the content-heavy pages by serving pre-rendered pages from the server. So it supports server-side rendering. Before getting the information to the client, it is pre-rendered in the server and is sent back to the client. So it is useful when we are building a website that needs to be server engine optimized. And here we are using Hasura and it acts as our backend engine. It provides a real-time GraphQL API for our database. It manages all the data interactions and ensures that our content updates are reflected instantaneously across all users. So it provides complex querying, mutations, subscriptions, and actions. And it also, like the one of the major benefits of using Hasura is it auto generates a GraphQL API from existing database schema. Or if there is any existing database that has already database and a schema, so it automatically generates GraphQL for our database and the data. It also tracks all the relationships that are present. So it accelerates the backend development and allows us developers to focus more on the front end and the user experience. So it supports complex real-time subscriptions and access controls. So this is so I have said that I have used Next.js which supports server-side rendering. I said that it will improve the search engine optimization. Let us see how. So we have something like Google crawlers which crawl into web scrap into our applications and see the content of the application. So it will be able to decide like whether it is a financial application or a education platform or whatever. But in React, so what happens is at the initial render there will be a single root HTML coming from the server. It doesn't have all the content pre-rendered. So these are rendered based on the script files that are attached to the HTML element. So let us see that. I click on sign in. So we can see that in the response, so we can see that at the initial this is the root single element that has been called, and in a waterfall model the scripts are attached here. So these are called eventually, and again this request has been sent through the JavaScript file and the content is received. So the Google crawlers could not see the content in this response, whereas I have in this Next.js application, if you could see that when I sent the request, we can see everything is pre-rendered in the see. We can see all the content. So this is pre-rendered on the server and is sent back to this client, to the front end. So everything is pre-rendered. So if I go to the blog section also, and if I see, we have all the content already rendered here. So we have the title, estimated read time. So this is one of the major benefit of using Next.js. It is a full stack framework where we can also maintain both front end and back end in a single application. And I have used Hasura that acts as our backend engine. So Hasura, it's a very good application to reduce the overhead of writing the backend, rather focusing more on the front end and the development, increasing the user experience. So it provides various features like complex querying, mutations, transactions, and also custom API points, and we can also fetch real-time data also. So let me just show you the Hasura. This is, so I have created an new database and have created my own schema. It also provides an option to automatically generate the schema for us with an existing databases and schema. So this is a subscription. So this will be active and will be running throughout. So if there is any changes in the existing data in the post, data model, then it will be fetched immediately. So it will be actively listening for the changes. Uh, so this is how the querying will actually work. So uh, it generates the GraphQL for our database, and this is the database. We have the schema, we have a users table and the post table. The post table has ID, title, content, published or not, author ID. So this author ID has the relationship associated with the user table. So these are the various attributes for the user table, and we can actually like using SQL only we can generate our schema. So it will automatically track all the relationships and all, we can see. So we can create new schema or whatever we can. So it also provides an API, GraphQL endpoint, and here we can explore by writing queries, and can also create a custom endpoint. So I have created a custom endpoint here. So when an user hits with this specific endpoint with the admin secret, then he would be able to get the access of the content. So coming to the project, so this is a medium like website where user can actually create the blogs or can read the array of blogs. So this is the main app folder where we have all the file based routing, and we have the specific components to be rendered according to the endpoint. So when the user hits localhost port number / blocks, then this will be rendered, this page. So this is file based routing. Since I have included this in the parentheses, these pages, it will be neglected. So if I haven't included the parentheses, then the file route would be like localhost pages / specific component / blocks means then this. So this file based routing has a great advantage in developing interfaces. So suppose we have layouts and loadable components, and so various features. So the for fetching the blocks, this is the component. So I'm actually fetching this from the backend that is using Hasura. I will be explaining this later part. So this is the user interface that will be rendered on the front end. So here I am calling the fetch block component. So this fetch block component will run a query that I have kept in the this specific folder, and actions. We have actions such as for creating the blog and fetching the blog. So this is for fetching the blog, and we have written the query here in this GraphQL operations, and for creating the new user at the sign up or sign in, and for inserting a post, and for getting all the blocks. So what it does is it is this component, asynchronous component that imports the specific query, and when this specific component is triggered, then this function will be invoked and it will fetches the query. So how does it do? So we have this Apollo server client that allows us to interact with the Hasura endpoint. So we have these endpoints and the secrets and all present in our env folder. So this is my env folder where I have given my Hasura GraphQL endpoint and the admin secret endpoint. Coming back to this again, so this is how this specific blocks are fetched. So let us see the query here. So this is just simple as including attributes that are required. So the main benefit of using this GraphQL is that in the REST API we may get the response of excessive data, even though we don't require. All the data is sent to the as a response, but here it allows the flexibility of getting only the content that is required. So suppose if I want name also to be included, then I will just write this, and only that specific that are mentioned here will be fetched, nothing less, nothing more. So this is the and the authentication I have used for Nextauth in-house, which follows a credentials provider, that is username and password authentication. So I have this in authentications file. So this is the where authentication actually lies. So whenever the user hits this point, that is when API slash auth slash anything, this specific thing will be rendered. And so as we can see, we have a auth options here, and that imports next auth and the options, and we have followed credentials provider strategy, and we have used bicrypt for hashing the password, and we are importing our Apollo server to interact with the database. This is the Hasura API, and so these are the GraphQL operations. The time for checking, for finding the user by email, and for creating a user if there is no existing user with that specific email. So when this is the a function that where the actually authentication will happen. So the providers, we have used credentials provided. I have included a name and email. The name is optional. This is actually for at the time of creating a user, and this is email and password that are compulsory required. So these are the attributes, and this is the function that checks the authorization. So first it will check if there is an existing user with that specific email ID. So this query will be run. So the query is we need to fetch the email by distinct email, and with that specific email we are fetching these attributes. If there is an user, then we will be checking the password here. So we will be checking the password here. So if not, then he will be so if there is a user with a specific ID, then we'll be verifying the password, and we'll be setting a token, session token, and we'll be proceeding for him to the dashboard page or whatever he'll be allowed. So this was the authentication. Then for creating a blog, we have a page for creating a blog. So this specific component will be rendered. So it is a client side, and so we are importing the create blog query from the this is the action, server action. So this will be triggered, and in this we'll be using insert post mutation, and we'll be passing those variables through this. So the query looks like this, and this is the query that accepts these attributes, and this is the author ID, content, and the title. Yeah, this was the query. And coming back to the create blog, so this is this will be rendered like this is the form for fetching the this is the form that actually collects the data like title, content, and the button to submit. When the user clicks on this button, then this function is invoked, create blog. So this performs the creation of the blog. So again, so let me just show you the project. So when I click on logout, so he'll be redirected back to the specific sign in page. Now where I can I need to sign in back. Let me just create a new account. So when I click on sign in, so it checks if there is an existing user with that specific email. If not, it will be created. So this is the dashboard page, and here is the blog section where the user can see all the various blogs that are present, and we can here actually create a blog, some random content. So when I click on the create, so the blog has been created successfully, and we can see that in the blog section. So as we can see, we have got this, and so this was the high level. We can also like we can see if suppose our website requires continuous listening, like messaging platform where it should actively listen for the incoming messages, then we can use subscriptions like that. The Hasura provides you those great features. So I can show you that here. So suppose that subscription, so it will be actively listening of, so we can see we have about 3 posts. Now let me just create it. So when I insert a new post, then I can actually see that here immediately. Mutation, insert post, and we have the objects that will be having author ID. Author ID would be, I need to fetch the author ID. Okay. Okay, I will take this author ID and I will paste it here. Author ID, and the title would be some random title, and we have content. I'll be entering some random content, and in return I need title. That's enough for me now. I'm inserting a new, so we have successfully inserted a post. Now I should see some blog with the title this. So we have got this, so the subscription feature. So yeah, this was the React project. So if you can see, we can see that nothing is rendered in the request. So a JavaScript file is invoked and we are fetching like that. So this is why this Next.js is providing a search engine optimization through server-side rendering. So now again, when I click on fetching the blocks, we have entire content present in the initial HTML element. So thank you.